Hello, friends. Welcome back for another part of the Frosty Friggin' Folks. Cycle 1010, which doesn't mean anything, but in this episode, we are going to be talking about getting further out on the star map with only the tools that we were given on this main asteroid. Here's an icy nectar meteor shower on the way, by the way. Maybe we'll get some more trees. But as you can see from the star map, we are basically in a position where we cannot explore any further with the carbon dioxide rockets because we've gone about as far as we can go and explore it out, and we don't see anything else. So we need to switch over to a new rocket type. And like I was mentioning in the previous episode, there's a couple things that we could do with the resources that we're given. So if we take a look at the different rockets that there are, let's just look here. So if we were to create a new rocket, we could make something out of steam. We could do carbon dioxide, we could, do petroleum, there's radiation rockets, there's hydrogen, but I think we're just going to roll with these sugar engines. And this is going to be an interesting adventure because we have all this nectar that we're getting from these bonbon trees. I'm thinking like, oh, there's a gourds. By the way, that animation is a little funny on the top there. But no, they changed the name to trees. And we are getting a good amount of nectar as we were just harvesting this left side for nectar. Like I mentioned in the previous episode, the idea here is that nectar can be turned into sucrose, and it can be done by one of two ways, either boiling it or freezing it. Either one will produce a byproduct of steam and 770 grams of sucrose for every 1,000 that's coming in from nectar. So we need to make a setup with this, but one of the other challenges that I issued is that I'm not going to use aqua tuners or steam turbines this entire game, and we're just going to see how far we can get. So here's the idea. I'm juggling two different ideas, and I'm not really sure which one I'm going to go with. So what we're going to do to cool this down, we probably will not use the anti-entropy thermonullifier. We could. I would have to rebuild a lot of this. I'm also nervous that our phosphorite is not going to keep up at this rate for the rest of the run, so I'm trying to avoid that if I can. But what I think I am going to use instead is something that I don't even think I've talked about before, just because the aqua tuner is such a better option. But we are going to gimp ourselves and make us have to use this less useful option. That's going to be the thermal regulator. This is basically an air conditioner. We can build these out of steel, and it should raise their overheat temperature to a point that they will overheat, and we can do one of two things. We can either take all of this liquid that we have. This is a crazy amount of liquid. A lot of it's brine that's coming through from cast off from our metal refinery. But we could do that, or we could create a setup where we have the nectar being both boiled and frozen at the same time. So basically we would run our air conditioners to the point that the top chamber would be super cold, the bottom chamber would be super hot, and we would use that to effectively melt the nectar and get sucrose back. I think I'm going to do the option where we do both at the same time, just to see how this is going to work, because I have no idea how this is going to work. So we're going to basically have a very cold area, a very warm area on the bottom, and a very cold area on the top. And we'll be slowly trickling in nectar, just to get it all frozen and hardened and sent back up so that we can make our sugar rockets. So I think we're going to go with that, and that's going to be the plan. Let me take a little bit of time to prune down all these new asteroids or rather new trees that might be falling and all the snow and junk out of here. Then I'll get started making that setup, and I don't know. We didn't have any montages in the last video, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we've fired this up. Let's take a look at how this is working. So like I mentioned, these are thermoregulators. They are way less efficient when it comes to power than aqua tuners. We are only doing this because I have set out a challenge to not use aqua tuners at all in this run. So you could easily do this exact same setup with just one aqua tuner and it would be more efficient than what we're doing right now. So heavy caveat. We are gimping ourselves on purpose just for fun. So if you want to do something like this, I would definitely say use an aqua tuner instead. So the idea is we have two chambers that are separated by a whole bunch of insulated tile. The bottom chamber is meant to be very hot, the top chamber is meant to be very cold, and they're both filled with just a little bit of nectar. And whichever one starts converting into sucrose first is fine by me. So we're just going to be letting in a little bit at a time. So I do have a hydro sensor here. And this hydro sensor is just set to below 20. If it's below 20, it's going to turn on this liquid shutoff, just so we don't have stuff sitting in the pipes all the time. And it'll let something through, and the nectar will just kind of sit here until these thermoregulators eventually boil this nectar. Or until, we have the exact same setup at the top, until the nectar is turned into sucrose at the top because it gets cold enough. So here's our piping for this. Just anywhere that we want it to be cold is radiant pipe. Anywhere that we don't want it to exchange temperature is insulated pipe. So yeah, pretty straightforward. I also have these auto sweepers that are just going to grab the sucrose when it's time. And because we're going to be handling very hot or very cold sucrose, I have them both shipping up into a small container of nectar up here, so that they will just kind of exchange their temperatures and then we can send it out to the top. One thing to note though is that we do have sucrose already on the map that we just found by digging around, or these guys, if they do get access to sulfur, they will put out more sucrose for us. Sucrose is a pretty limited resource, but we can at least use what we already have, so we don't need to wait for all this to pay off. It will, but it'll take a little while, and it might be a little slow, especially because we have challenged ourselves to not use aqua tuners. So here's another option. My other thought is that we could use all of the heat that's going to come off this sugar engine and potentially make our own sucrose from putting a bunch of nectar down here, and when the rocket blasts off, have it put all of its heat into the nectar, and then we could do it that way. So I don't know how well this is going to work in comparison to the other one, but I'm going to try both at the same time. So we've got a setup started here. I will get the pipes going for the nectar before we actually blast these rockets off. But yeah, I'm setting this up a little bit better than it was before, only because I'm worried about the heat that this is going to put out. Apparently this puts out a lot, but I haven't run one of these sugar engines for a really long time, so I can't remember how much it is, at least by comparison to like hydrogen rockets and stuff, which will definitely melt things. But yeah, so that's going to be the idea. So we're going to both be converting the sucrose, or rather converting the nectar here, and on our other rocket, and here. But this is going to take a little while to start putting stuff out. But at least in the meantime, we do have a good amount of sucrose we can get started with. And of course, we are putting out our oxalite, because the sugar rockets do need oxidizer tanks, which we have no shortage of oxalite, so we should be totally fine. So we have these set up. The point of these, and the big like question mark with this, is the range is basically the same as CO2 rockets, but the benefit of this is that if we can take our own sucrose and oxalite inside the rocket chamber, we already have a whole bunch. We can just land on one of the places we've already set up and have our duplicants just get out, put the fuel back in the rocket, and then we'll get 6 more tiles. So as long as we have a way to bounce from asteroid to asteroid, it'll be pretty easy. And the way that we can do it right now, at least with the exploration rocket that we have, we need to reveal more tiles to find the other spots on the map. We can just have them bounce to this one, reload, and then fly out to here to get all this revealed. Then they can fly back and do the same thing, reload if they already have the fuel, fly somewhere else, reload, fly somewhere else, reload. You can do that for pretty much as long as you want, and they can reveal all of this side of the map in hopes that we can find enough things to just consistently bounce off of that will let us only beat the whole game with sugar and carbon dioxide rockets, which I've never done before, but it's theoretically possible, so I guess we'll figure out if we can actually do it. So there we go. Let's wait for this to get set up. I'll load it with nectar. We'll blast off the sugar engine and we'll get started on finding those other planets. All right, we've had our setup running for a few cycles now. We're getting close to freezing some. The boiling is going to take a little bit longer, but yeah, this should start to transform here pretty soon. We also have our setup ready to start getting the nectar refined via the heat from our Smarties, from our sugar engine here. Before we send this rocket out, though, I'm going to mention a couple things. Number one, and the most important part for sure, they removed the table salt from the squash fries right after I complained about it. So if somebody was listening to my complaints, thank you. Also, there was a lot of people who suggested different things to help prevent the different ways that you could not have them bringing salt here. And yeah, you could set this down to 1. There's a couple of automation tricks you could do. But generally, I just wish I could disable this, so I would say I don't want them to eat table salt at all. I just want to save it all for my recipes, but they just took it out, so that's gone. They also added Nosh Snack, which is basically just Nosh beans and tallow. This is a lot of calories. It looks pretty good. Nosh beans do take petroleum, ethanol to grow, so that kind of makes sense with the seals, so we might run something like that when part 2 of this announcement is that the game was just announced, or at least the DLC was just announced to be out on the 19th. So as of when I'm recording this, that's 1 week from today, meaning that we will hurry up and finish this run, and then I think I will start a fresh run just with the base game and all the new features of the DLC immediately after that. So that will be the content plan in reaction to this. But yeah, we've only got a few days left to get this run done, so I'm going to go as quickly as I can to get it done. We'll cross off all the objectives. I think we'll be there in time. I don't think I need to worry about it too much, but yeah, there you go. So full DLC will be out soon, and we will start a new run when that happens. All right, let's send this sugar rocket out. So this sugar rocket, I'm just going to send over to the nearest place. We'll just go right here first, since it's only 3 tiles away. I'm also having my duplicates bring sucrose and oxalite to this, which we should have plenty now, so let me get rid of this. I'm bringing 9 tons of sucrose to basically bring half of it here and then half to the other rocket, which is going to be like the colonization rocket. But we have food, we have oxygen, we have fuel, so we should be fine to be out here for a little while. I might need to ask for a little bit more. Oh no, I have a lot of food here. Okay, never mind. Cool, so let's get this sent out, and we will start bouncing off of these different nodes that we've already set up. I already did that. So begin our launch, and we'll get them out of here, but I'm curious how much heat this is actually going to dump into this, because a lot of this is going to be going into the neutronium, which basically means it doesn't go anywhere, which was partly a strategy to help keep this area more cool. But let's see how much this does on the initial liftoff. Really not that much at all. We could probably use some temp shift plates and stuff down here to help. Got melted, by the way. Probably a couple ladders or pipes or something. Yeah, I don't know. It definitely still is hot, so we probably could run some temp shift plates up here to try to capture this the best we could. But I do want most of this to be wasted because I don't want to heat up the rest of this area if I can avoid it. Even down here got a little bit hotter than I would like. But I don't know if some of that's due to the nectar. No, the nectar should be helping it. I don't know. I don't want to heat this area up down here, so I'll have to find a nice balance between the two of them to capture as much of it as possible and not disperse it out into areas that I don't want. But it did not do a whole lot. I guess it went from like -20 to like +40 and still rising. Maybe this will do something. I don't know. Let me add a bunch of temp shift plates here and see if we can help this out. But that was an interesting experiment, at least to start off with. It's still rising. I wonder how much more this is going to go. There's not much heat left in the tiles, so I don't think we're going to boil it by the time we get there. But that was interesting. If we do a lot of liftoffs from here, we might actually get a decent amount of return from it. So I'll modify this setup. Once the rocket starts getting further out there and we start revealing more of it, I'll let you know what our plan is for our rocket that we go settle on. So this one, our little recon rocket. This one can actually have the orbital cargo and the Trailblazer module, so we won't need to set up a second rocket to crash land or anything weird like that, like we were doing last time. Maybe I'll add the temp shift plates here in an attempt to get this as set up as possible. So let me do that, and as soon as we find some new places, I'll let you know, and we will continue on. Okay, we are landed on the other planet and halfway through our Smarties, so they should want to come down here and reload this as soon as possible. There we go. I do need to make sure to get them back in their suits, so I might rebuild this just a little bit so that there's actually a suit dock to get out of here. Still do need the telescope so we can find stuff, so I'll have to find a way to fit both of those things in here once I get a chance. I don't know why, but the ball toilet has been restricted, and I don't really understand why. It's not set to be only grounded, so little bug there, but now that we're refueled, we can now keep going and fly a little bit further to find some more planets. So yeah, just wanted to show the refueling process. All right, our system is paying out its first little bits of sucrose here, so it is working. There is stuff eventually coming out of this. At least at the top. The bottom is still not quite there yet. We've got another about 30 degrees to go. But it's working like we expect, and I'll be pulling the ice and the sucrose out of here. If it's sucrose, I'll have it drop in here. If it's something else, I'll have it drop right here. So that's where the ice will go. I'm having the ice drop out separately because I don't know if I'm going to need to put the ice back into here. That's something I wasn't really clear on yet. Or if I'd even really want to. I think the answer is probably no, because I want as much of the energy as possible being put into the nectar so that it can boil it. I may also do something with this steam, whether that's just venting it or... I mean, if we need to and the steam rockets aren't doing it for us, we could switch over to steam rockets and just use this to pump it out. So that's always a possibility too, but yeah, just want to keep tabs on this as we get it. The exploration rocket is on its way to discover some new spots. So as soon as we do discover somewhere new, we'll send our colonization rocket after it and we will set it up. Also, I need to be careful about where I'm building the pods because I melted the pod on this planet and obviously damaged my solar panels, but we don't really need those anymore. So I probably need to build the pod like somewhere down in the middle or something like that that's not going to get melted from all the hot exhaust. It'll also be interesting to see on these planets that we bounce off of how much damage we're going to do to the surface by just landing there and taking off from there all the time with these sugar rockets. But that's just the price you pay with sugar rockets, I guess. Okay, we have discovered a new planet. It's the Water Asteroid. We are going to be landing on it and grabbing the artifact and building the pod like we would typically do. What is going on with my game right now? Okay, that was weird. So yeah, the exploration rocket is just getting outfitted with a module to land on planets because there are meteor showers that will cause our landing areas to be rendered unusable. So just going to have to do that pretty quickly. But we should be able to get down on this planet, and since the sugar rockets are taller, that means that we can add some extra modules just to spray down resources and then have a duplicate land on there, and shouldn't be any problem. So let's make sure that whoever this is has their suit on and is not going to be in one of those situations again where they shouldn't be able to leave the, whoops, is this the right one? Yeah. Shouldn't be able to leave the rocket without going out of this atmosuit checkpoint without a suit, but I've seen them do it before. So let's see who's going to go down there. Who's drawing straws here? Who's got the right skills? All right, Bert, looks like you're it. So Bert, get in your suit. There we go. And let's make sure that we disable this building so that he isn't tempted to take it off or anything like that. There we go. Now we should be able to... Let's make sure that at least enough of these landed in good places. Yeah, we have enough right here. We should be able to land the rocket. So cool. Let's do that. Let me go back to the star map and get Bert out on the surface. And since we've seen this a couple times, unless something really goes sideways like it has before, I'll just go ahead and do this part, land the rocket, and once I get the rocket landed and get everything up and running, then we will be good to just dig down to the bottom, and we'll show a little bit of that. I'll talk about how we're going to be revealing stuff when we're here in terms of like surrounding tiles in case there's another planet or something nearby that would be useful to know. So we'll come back in a bit. Okay, We're all landed. We're established. Just need to dig down to the bottom on this planet. It's going to take a little while. While we're here, we might as well reveal some nearby tiles. So on the inside, I'm just going to destroy this skill scrubber that I used to scrub, I think, Bert, so that we can build a telescope, and Bert can just hang out inside the rocket and find the nearby planets or whatever else might be around here, just so we can make sure that we are seeing as much as possible. So there, drop our telescope. So that'll be the plan. We'll just respec Bert here and give him the astronomy researching, and also probably bump this up quite a bit so that he stays busy. The other thing that we need to do is build our mini pod, which we now can't reach because I put it out of reach. But there you go. Just need to build a mini pod, grab the artifacts, and leave. But in the meantime, we might as well explore the area around us. So that's what Bert's going to be up to for a little while. Also, if we needed to, because we know this is kind of a one-way trip, if we can still explore with this other rocket while our exploration rocket is on the other side, we might as well just kind of fly around and see what's around here to hopefully reveal all the planets. But yeah, this is one of the rough parts of using only sugar rockets, is you really don't have the range you normally would with these other rockets, but we'll make do with what we have. Okay, Bert is unearthing this glorious VHS tape. I know it just says archaic tech, but it's a VHS tape, I swear. That means that we hit the bottom and we are grabbing the artifacts from the bottom of here, so that's the only real thing that we need to do on this asteroid, in addition to starting up a pod. So I think this might be 5? No, we're only at 4. So we do need one more. In the meantime, my exploration rocket has been busy unveiling the other asteroids. We did find the gassy moo one and the frozen one. Both of these we do need to make a stop at, especially this one. We need to make a stop here so that we can start setting up the infrastructure needed for the temporal tear opener. So I think we will go there in the next video. I think I might just get all the artifact stuff out of the way in this one and just continue bouncing around and finding other planets and that kind of stuff. I do need to make a habit of making some stops along the way to grab artifacts from these space points of interest as I'm flying around, so we'll be grabbing those in just a bit as well. But yeah, lots of progress being made, and we are getting pretty close to being done. Let me get the official list of all the things that we need to do, and we'll kind of check our progress here. 16 morale, we can get that at any point. Great Monument, I think we have the resources for this, actually. Let me check, because we might just want to build this now. Let me see if we have all of them. So we need, for the Great Monument, oh, we don't even have the first one. We probably need more steel is probably the biggest limiting factor. Maybe more plastic. We might need to start that up again with the nectar. So yeah, definitely more steel is what was needed for that. So we need that. We need to finish up a 5th colony, or at least a 5th printing pod. Need to do all the temporal tear stuff and then studying artifacts. We should be at 3 terrestrial artifacts as soon as we finish up on this planet and get out of here. I think the next one we go to will probably just be the gassy moo one, just so we can get that one out of the way. And I'll continue searching for any other ones. We do need to visit at least enough to get enough terrestrial artifacts to cross that off, which is basically all of them except for the Magma Asteroid. We could probably just forgo that entirely. We have settled on there before, and I do have a video specifically for that if you wanted to take a look. So I think all I'm really going to do is grab the copper from here and leave. We'll probably head back to, get back to the center of the map and over to... What melted? Oh, they just re-landed. Probably just to get to the center of the map and get back over to this asteroid. So yeah, I think we'll be doing that. Who's scalding? How dare you get too hot? So, yeah, we've only got a couple more things to do in this video, I think. So let's go do them real quick, and then we'll call it good. All right. Here we are, mooing on the gassy moo planet. Just getting the artifacts analyzed. Going to be putting up our mini pod here, and that will complete our directive for having 5 quote-unquote colonies established. We're not really living there, but we are checking the box, which is the most important thing. Gassy moo just flew down right then. So that will at least get some of this done. We are also running 2 different rockets right now to either do like colonization type of stuff, or to do just exploration, grabbing artifacts, that kind of stuff. This planet is such a problem. It does not look that bad. I had to rebuild the entire inside of this just to make the two rockets match a little bit better. Only because I need it to perform better with a bigger gas pump, and I had to rebuild a whole bunch of stuff around it. But that's all nice and stabilized now. But the radiation on this planet is just out of control. So the parts that I did not show earlier was just a constant barf fest. Everybody throwing up all the time, both from stress and from radiation sickness. So yeah, that was not a very fun adventure. But here's about where we stand. So this rocket's returning, grabbing an artifact. I think that'll put me at like 3 or 4 space artifacts. We did find the temporal tear, so we do need to start opening it, and I think we're going to start doing that in the next video. We're going to try to get all the artifacts in this one, but there will be ones here, so I guess we're going to get all of them except for this one. This planet, we could do a few runs to grab artifacts. There's a whole bunch of them around us, so we could cross off a bunch of them here. Our sugar rockets are still persisting as being very useful. And since both of these are pretty much the same now, they both should be able to fit a telescope inside them, so I can still do some discovery of things while we're out here and continue to reveal tiles. So this may actually be doable on only sugar rockets, which I don't think I've ever seen before and definitely never tried. What is with this square? I don't understand what is going on here. These visuals don't make any sense. Here's another one. It's huge. It looks like a giant helmet. Okay, we're definitely getting some bugs going on here. I don't know what's happening. But anyway, we will be continuing to explore, grabbing artifacts, and we're getting pretty close to finishing up this one. Let's take a look at our progress overall. So let me go back here and look at the pod. Here we go. Yeah, it looks about the same, but we do have this one checked off now. So 5 out of 5, that one's done. We will start working on the temporal tear next time, and here we go. We have 5 terrestrial artifacts and 1 space artifact so far, at least unique ones. So I'll just be running errands around here for a little while and doing stuff there. The other thing is I'm going to show a little bit of an update to this room. So these rooms that are fully completed don't need to have an open ceiling anymore. So I just replaced it with a mesh tile ceiling and a setup up top to dig stuff out and ship things back just in case anything interesting comes down, especially the snow. Our snow is really starting to dwindle, and this is what I was worried about when we first started this setup a long time ago. We went from about 180 tons down to 36, so if this starts getting any worse, I will start some ice makers for the snow, just to get an idea of how that's going to work. Another thing, by the way, we'll do a little preview. Oh, I don't have it set up anymore. But we'll do a little preview of what we're going to be talking about next time. In the update that just came out for the DLC, there's a new building, which is this Mercury ceiling light. I did turn it on for just a second to see what it did. But if you take a look at the stats on this, and we'll work with this a lot more in the next one. The stats on this are 60,000 lux for only 60 watts. You do have to feed it quite a bit of mercury, but that's pretty handy because look at how much mercury I actually have. So I think we're going to be creating a big solar power setup with this, just to try it out and see what we can get. It would have been handy to have this earlier, for sure, because we have spent a lot of time generating our own power and doing some weird stuff to get power generation going. The sucrose creation setup, I have it mostly unpowered right now because it doesn't need to be running. I don't have enough nectar for it to be running. But it is putting out a decent amount of sucrose. Our other setup is also putting out sucrose. It finally paid out. But the problem is that this is so hot, I'm going to have to ship it somewhere else to deal with it, and it needs to not go anywhere near all of this. So I think I'm going to have to ship it like all the way around and then all the way down, and I think I'll just drop it into this water here to cool it down. But yeah, quite the disaster. Oh, the other problem with this rocket is this rocket's out of water, so there's just pee all over the ground, people are throwing up all the time. He's probably going to have some kind of stress reaction at some point. It's just really been wonderful, let me tell you. So, yeah, we're getting pretty close. Let's grab a few more artifacts, and let's get as far as we can before it's time to start doing the temporal tear stuff and finishing up. But yeah, I'll be on that, and I'll close it out here in just a bit. Okay, we've landed on a new planet. This is the Regolith Asteroid, like I like to call it. I don't know what it's technically called. Yeah, Regolith Asteroid. Okay. The first point of business, yeah, let's use the neural vacillator. That's clearly what we should be doing right now, when it's more important to be landing the rocket, perhaps. Let's see what kind of buff we get from scrambling our brains. Oh, nice! Okay, this is one of the best ones there is. Alright, negative 20 stress. Cool. But the reason I'm doing this is because I landed up here, and there were two interplanetary payloads with copper in them. And I unloaded one, and nothing came out, which is great. Love it when that happens. That's my favorite. So, I'm gonna have to build my way down and grab this other one. I don't know why every single landing is so, like, chaotic. I wish it could just be smooth, but I always run into something weird that causes problems. In the spaced out one, when I landed on the water planet, I just, like, threw all my stuff at the bottom of the asteroid and had to build my way up before the duplicant would suffocate to death, so... just all kinds of weird stuff happens to me. I don't know what the deal is, but I swear there were two of them here. I unpacked one of them and nothing came out. So that's great. But let's get down here, and I need to change his schedule. Why does this always happen? You, wake up. Stop sleeping. Come on. There we go. So, I mean, I guess I need to continue to build ladders down too, but I don't have many supplies. There we go. How far down can we get? Build every other one. I think we can do this. Build two. Yeah, and then assuming something actually comes out of here, which would be great, we will actually get this thing landed. And we'll have the international symbol for we're on a new planet by throwing up in our spacesuit. There's nothing more celebratory than that, I tell you what. Who has high stress? Meep, why you have high stress? Okay, whatever. Oh, wrong one. Wrong one again. There we go. Come on. Come on, stop hesitating. Let's go. Get this unpacked. Oh, he's doing the cool way. The reverse unpack. Copper. Give me copper. Yes, okay. So now we should have enough to drop this rock. What? No. That's only 600. Where's... okay. Now I feel like I'm nuts. What happened to this? Did it, like, fall off a cliff or something? It's not down here? No. What? Is it just invisible? Okay, now I'm really confused. We need to solve this and put our duplicant in danger because I don't know what's going on. Hey, there we go. There's the international symbol that we found a new planet. Just barf in your spacesuit. What are you doing? Come on, get up here. Oh no, why can't you get up here? Oh, because the shovel barfed it. Ugh. Come on. I swear this wasn't here. And I swear I couldn't build... I swear I couldn't build a rocket platform. Okay, whatever. Alright, build the platform, and let's finally get this thing done. We're gonna research our artifacts here and then get out. That's all we're here for anyway. But the location on the star map for this, I'll pause this so we can look. Just over here on the right side, we did discover it by just going to this destroyed satellite to grab an artifact. And having a telescope inside there, obviously. This rocket, I think we're going to send to the ice planet just to get the artifacts done, because I want to do them all in this video. And then maybe I'll just leave those duplicants there, and they can get us started in the next video on getting the temporal tear opened. But as for here, we just need to get this thing landed, which has, of course, been a struggle, because I apparently didn't see that piece of copper. But I swear when I went into the menu, it wouldn't let me build, and it said there was only 600 copper, so... that was nice. Okay, so you need to move. There we go. And you need to land. There. I don't know how much oxygen he has left. Let me see. Does it say in the suit? I don't think so. And of course the bar is not there. I don't know when they're going to fix that, but that's been a problem for a long time. More radiation vomiting. This is great. Alright, how about you just build some ladders down to here. And then you can start building ladders to meet up with that. Yeah, we doing that? Steve, get out here. Steve the duplicate. I don't know why that name sounds funny to me. Okay, well, Steve is just very slow. There we go. No! Just, wake up. Wake up and get in the rocket, please. To build the ladder. Come on. Jeez, how much radiation has he taken? 154, okay. I mean, we're not doing great, but we're not within the death zone yet. Okay, there. Jeez. Okay, much smoother landing this time. We are on the Ice Asteroid. Just going to be burrowing down here to grab the artifacts for now. We'll talk about getting the temporal tear opener in the next video, but for now we're just going to be moving in, doing some telescope work to figure out what's around us, grabbing the artifacts and pushing forward. So I just did want to talk about this one really quickly. They'll be more revealed a little bit later on as we get down there and research those artifacts. We'll see what's around us, and then we only have one more planet to go, which is either going to be the Magma Planet or the Slime Planet to get that last artifact. Oh man, it has been an extremely long time since we have checked in because I am holding myself to this whole sugar rocket gimmick. And this is the very last tile that we can get to and still safely land back on a planet with one of our rockets, considering the telescope range that we have. Pretty much the whole map is revealed. And there's a couple of places that I could go out and look at, but the problem is I would have to like fly further out than I'd be able to return. So I hope this is the Slime Asteroid. If it's not, we're gonna have to start doing some silly stuff to get to these other asteroids. We're gonna have to like fly out here, and if we guess wrong, we're gonna have to crash land. And there's always a chance that we crash land on something other than the planet that we want to be on. So I really hope that this is the Slime Asteroid. Otherwise, this is going to get really ridiculous. But we subjected ourselves to this. This is why there are longer range rockets, because doing something like this is so silly. Come on! Oh, it's the Magma Asteroid, and I really don't want to land here. I guess we could as a refueling station. There is a chance that this is the Slime Asteroid, and can I even research it from there? No. So I don't think there's any value to going here, as far as I can tell. Right? Right? I don't know how close you have to be to these for the question marks to start appearing, because it could theoretically be in these, because we haven't revealed them yet. Okay, I guess we're gonna land on the Magma Asteroid. I really don't want to, but I think we're just gonna land there just for a place to refuel and see if we can explore down here to find the Slime Asteroid. I'm guessing that this is the Slime Asteroid. I really doubt it's this one. I don't think it's ever that far away, so I think it's this one. But the problem is, if I just guess and I'm wrong, I'm going to have to crash land back on another planet and lose a whole bunch of the resources that are in the rocket. So I guess we could plan this out for... Actually, here's what we can do. We have a second rocket, and we could leave this very underfilled on purpose. Like, just barely enough to get back in terms of sucrose. So we do have a decent amount of sucrose right now. And I say decent, like, kind of in air quotes, only because there's really not enough to be like hopping around the map with that much sucrose. But okay, fine, I guess we'll land here. I need to go back and change my rocket back to the other type, the type that can actually land places. So I guess we'll go there. Man, it's been so long. It's even since just the last check-in. It's been over 80 cycles. So we're going to do this sugar rocket gimmick, and we're going to do it all in one video, even though it is quite laborious, but we're going to get there. Okay, slight change to the plans. So this rocket, if it were to land on the Magma Asteroid, I'd need it to be made, or a bunch of the parts to be made out of steel anyway. They're made out of copper right now, so if I were to send stuff down, they would all melt. So I need to send it home anyway. So I figure while we're waiting for that, let's actually just send a rocket out here and see if this is the Slime Asteroid. If it's not, then I will just crash land the rocket back here, since we're only really going to need one going forward anyway to land on the ice planet for the next video. So I'm going to send this rocket out to like here, knowing that this is a one-way mission. If it happens to be the Slime Asteroid, we can land there and refuel. And if it's not, then yeah, we'll just crash land back on the main planet. So let me make sure we have everything inside here before we go, because this could be a one-way mission. So we already have copper loaded up, glass, granite, iron, oxalite. We have food in the refrigerator, plastic, and sugar. Yeah, we should be good. So let's send this out. And as soon as we get there and as soon as we find out, I'll let you know what it's looking like. Okay, moment of truth. Let's hope this is the Slime Asteroid. Come on! Yes! Okay, now we don't need to do any wild stuff in terms of crash landing on this. We can actually just go here like normal. And these will be the last two artifacts for at least the terrestrial ones. I'm pretty sure we're still missing one space artifact, which means we might still need to do some weird stuff. We might need to still land on the Magma Asteroid. I figure since we've gone through so much already, maybe we should just do it anyway. So let me check. Yep, we still need one more space artifact, and the last two ought to be on this Slime Asteroid for terrestrial. So we'll land there. I think we will just replace the parts on this rocket. Whoops, we don't need to do this anymore. Why are you charging up a building that no one's using? And I think we're going to just replace this with steel, and maybe we will just do a landing on the Magma Asteroid. So I will make those replacements. We'll fly over there and we'll land there in addition to the Slime Asteroid, and we'll finish up the artifacts. Okay, plop. There we go. Now we are on the Slime Planet to get these last couple artifacts. Yep, there's one. There's one. So that should finish this up. We've seen this ran through several times, so I'll just kind of fast forward to the part that we are analyzing this and getting it finished up. We'll probably also need to set up our telescope in this rocket once we get more settled, just to see if there's anywhere else around us that we could grab the last artifact for the space artifacts. So we'll get that done and check back in. Okay, that was our last terrestrial artifact that Ada just researched, so there we go, we're at 10 out of 10. Now the last place we need to go is to the Magma Asteroid to at least land, because I think we can grab an artifact from here once we change our modules out. Just haven't been able to reach that before because it's been too far from all these other ones. So at the minimum, I hope there is a unique artifact here. If not, we're going to have to start doing some weird stuff to find the last unique space artifact, but I'm guessing it'll be here. It's pretty likely that it will be. So yeah, we're just going to be on our way there in a few cycles, and we will land on the dreaded Magma Asteroid and refuel and go about our business. Okay, we're here. This is the last place we should need to land. And when we deploy our orbital cargo... wait, did we already deploy it? What's going on here? Okay, yeah, looks like it's already down here. Sorry, I had to reload and I forgot to save because I couldn't click on these, so it looks like we're good now. We did at least get some landing on this platform here, so we won't need to do any weird stuff like building down into the lava to grab some of these, in case we didn't get a good landing spot for all of them. So we did get a good amount. I brought way more than we actually needed, just to hopefully eliminate this possibility, but we should be good. Let's get somebody down on the surface. We'll just grab Camille and deploy Camille right here, which is what I did the previous time that I recorded this, but forgetting to save and losing all my progress back to this point kind of made that section a little not worth doing. So there we go. We've landed. Let's empty some storage here. Let's get a place for this to actually build a rocket platform. And this is really just for reloading. There's not really anything for us to do here. We don't need to go down and get the artifact on this planet because we've already got all the terrestrial artifacts that are required for that colony directive. So, as soon as Camille can get all this stuff unpacked, we'll land our rocket and we'll refuel. And we will just kind of sit here and try to find another place to go in terms of to grab an artifact. If there's nothing around us, which I don't think there is, because I think our range is only 3 tiles. I don't know about this one. I'll at least do my due diligence. We'll land a rocket here, and we will check to see if there's anything around us that could be useful for the last space artifact. If not, then we will just grab it on our way back. We will go here, on our way back to this asteroid. And by the way, your range on these rockets is really 1 more than it advertises, at least for landing on planets, which kind of bothers me. I wish that that was not calculated as a separate tile. Because technically, if you're anywhere within this range, if you're out of fuel, you will always be able to still land on the planet. It's nice that they do that, but it's really not communicated super well, so that can be a little bit confusing. But yeah, so we still should be able to reach this point, because it's 7 tiles if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7th is landing on here. We can still get there and be fine. So Camille, move out of the way. Thank you. I'm probably going to unpack the rest of these pieces of cargo as well, just so we can get our steel back. So let's land here. And we'll just do our typical of building ladders down here. I don't know if Camille actually has the digging ability to get this. Yeah, I don't think so. Although I should probably be doing something by now. And then we'll just build some ladders down to the bottom, pick up Camille, and everything should be good. So we'll do our due diligence of replacing some modules on this rocket. We'll explore around the area, see if there's anywhere else that we could fly to that would be more guaranteed than just like a one-way, on-our-way type of trip. We'll get Camille safely up in here. She is very hungry and sunburned, and the radiation's starting to pile up, so we really need to hurry up and get her in here. But we should be fine. She'll just start throwing up once she gets inside the rocket, which, again, is the best way to know... Oh, there we go. She did it early. Is the best way to know that we are officially on a new planet, is your duplicants just start throwing up because they get exposure to radiation. That's great. We should be fine, though. We're just barely past halfway. There we go. Get up there. Alright, so I'll replace the rocket modules, and we will head out to try to grab that other artifact, unless anything is closer, and then we'll be done with this video. Okay, status update. We've got our modules switched out. This should hopefully be the last stop we need to make. If not, this is going to get weird. I'm also not going to be taking any of my steel back, because I don't really want to load 1300 degree steel back into my rocket, so I guess all of this steel is just lost, and we will say it has been lost to get better odds of not having to go down in the lava and grab anymore. So yeah, just burned a bunch of steel just for the sake of probability. So we've got our modules all swapped out here. We're just going to be stopping here and then landing here to see if we're going to be getting the last artifact or not, and yeah, we'll find out. So let's start heading that way and get out of here. I'm just going to show the rocket launch because it looks cool, and I realize I haven't shown that many. There we go. Big pink flame of death. Alright, we'll be there soon. Alright, Camille's got the last artifact back home, and there we go. Like I'll typically do if you haven't seen these cutscenes, these are basically what you get when you fulfill colony directives. So I'm going to play it. If you don't want to watch it, then skip forward about a minute. How did that get there? So there we go. I'm not going to read this out just because I don't feel like it this time. Just kidding. In exploring this corner of the universe, we have found and assembled a collection of artifacts from another civilization. Studying these artifacts can give us a greater understanding of who we are and where we come from. Only by learning about the past can we build a brighter future, one where we learn from the mistakes of our predecessors. There. Jeez, it took so long to do this section of the run. I was not expecting it to be this long, but I will tell you what, Sugar rockets are extremely slow, only because I have to make so many trips around. But we proved out that we can really complete the game without any advanced rocketry and just run it entirely off of sugar, and also entirely off of fairly low tech. So we're using thermal regulators. There's no steam turbines. There's no aqua tuners. So I think we're really on the home stretch. I'm going to call it good for this video, like I've been alluding to a couple times already. The plan for the next video is just to complete the rest of this so that we can be done in time for when the real DLC releases, which will be on the 19th. I will have a video up the next day, just showing basically first impressions in the first part of that run. But all we have left to do in this one is to build a great monument, open the temporal tear, and breach the temporal tear. Oh, the other thing that we've done, by the way, is we have not really used any resources from anywhere other than here, just to prove that we could be self-sufficient off of one of these bases on hard. 18 duplicates feels like about the max that I could support. Any further, feel like we wouldn't have enough ethanol to push all this, but yeah, I think we've managed to get this done. So, the next video is going to follow this up. It should be out pretty quickly, where I will go over a lot of the initial impressions and a review of the base, a review of the run. We will talk about a couple other smaller things. I'll show you how I'm going to be doing the temporal tear charging over on the Ice Asteroid. It's going to be taking place here. This is the temporal tear opener right here. We're just going to need to charge it up. And we're not going to use really many or any resources that are on here, except for the naturally planted Wheezeworts. We will be sending a bunch of duplicates here just to get it done quickly and manually power all this stuff to get it out. So that'll be the idea, and we will go from there when it is time. So until then, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you back here for the next episode very soon.